Hello everyone, this is Ula in Hawaii, and this is the second attempt at trying to show you how you make this little keyring pouch. It's to go jogging with. You can hook it onto your jeans belt loop sort of thing, and inside it closes with Velcro, and there's room for a credit card and also another pocket that you could put band-aids, funny money, whatever you'd like in that. And then I just decorated it with a little button on there, and that's simple. Look, I made it with patchwork fabric that I'd made and some of my slow stitching or mending stitches on that. So I'm going to attempt to show you how I make it. You need two pieces of fabric. One is this one, 10 inches. This is the outer fabric. It's 10 inches by 3.5. The lining fabric is 3.5 inches wide by 17.5 long. You need two pieces of Velcro, well, like the male and the female, or the rough and the soft. Rough and the soft, let me put that back there. You know, they were like this. You separate them, and they're about 3.25 inches wide. And then you need one of those things that open up, for the cues to go through. And then you need a piece of ribbon for the loop, this loop here, and that's about, I think it's about 2.5 inches wide. That's all you need. You can interface it if you like. This one actually was already interfaced because I had done quilting on it, so it's a little thicker, but it is harder to turn, I must say. It's very hard to turn. If you do it that way, it's very tricky. So I'm going to push this aside like that. So the first thing is to take this, the two fabrics, and join them together in a seam. So it's the outer fabric and the lining fabric, and just with a 1/4 inch seam. You don't sew right across. You notice it's not right across. It's about 3/4 of an inch in from each side. Make sure you backstitch so it stays in place. And then once you've done that, you're going to fold your fabrics wrong sides together like that, right on that fold line. It's easier for me to do that. Okay, so you're going to do that, and this is the right side, this is the lining side. So this is 10 inches, this is 17.5 inches. Wrong side of wrong sides are facing. Now this is an island pouch from Hawaii, and so it's based on Japanese style folding. So you measure down 3.5 inches from this fold. Push that along a bit. Measure down 3.5 inches and fold this up. This is the right side. You're going to fold that up like that. So that measures 3.5 inches there. Then you flip it over. I've already put the Velcro in place, but at this, when you're making it, you will not have put the Velcro right now. Then flip it over, and you've got the right side here, and you've got the wrong side, the right side of the lining here, with that fold that we just made. Then you take this and you fold this up to where those two edges at the bottom should be about even, and then you fold this back. So that's the second fold, and then you're going to fold it up again. That's the third fold, and that's basically done. Now the next thing to do, though, is to add your little loop, and I think I added it on that side, but I think it is better if you add it on that side. You can add it on which side you like, actually. So you add that, and you put that about just over ½ an inch from where this fold is here, if you can see that. Move this away. Okay, so you can take this, fold in half. This is the loop, and that's going to go raw ends together, and about that much. So I'm going to take that to the sewing machine. You see, and just give that a little stitch there. It may come unfolded. It's okay. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Okay, so I've done that. Okay, so now I have the loop. This is the outside of the pouch. This is the lining. These are the folds, and you should have one, which was the original one here, and that's the one with the gap in the center. Then you fold that up, and then we're going to take this and fold this up. And remember, these are right sides together. It's like any bag you would sew. You always finish sewing it right sides together. So once you've done that, you've got this all nice, and you want to make sure that everything's in place. Then you want to actually undo those folds and place your Velcro. So I know this is a little tricky to explain, but you're going to take it, open it up again. You've already creased it with the iron, so you've got your creases and you know where the folds are. Sort of like a concertina, in, out, in, out. And on the lining side, the raw end, you put the soft side of the Velcro, and it's about ½ an inch down. So that's the soft side, and it's sewn on. That's the lining, right side of the lining. Then the rough side of the Velcro, which is this, goes about ¾ of an inch down from that original seam that was there, and you sew that onto the right side. So both pieces of Velcro are sewn onto the right sides. One gets sewn onto the body, outer body, one gets sewn onto the lining. Okay, I'll just move that for a minute. So then you're going to go to the machine and sew it. So in order to do that, you've got to refold it. So you take it again. There's the original seam. There. And make sure that, this is tricky at this point, you've got to make sure that everything really meets. Okay. So this is the outer pouch. So I've got wrong sides together. I'm going to fold it up 3½ inches. Then I'm going to flip it over to the other side. So both right sides are facing again. Make sure that these are kind of even as much as you can on the sides. Then you're going to do the, sort of the concertina thing. Fold that up. That's the lining. Fold it back again. So you'll have two meeting there. So you should have two meeting. And I like to pull this first fold just down a little bit. And then you fold it up again. And now you should have 1, 2, 3 folds at the bottom. I've got to make sure that this is straight. And then I'll just open that so you can see, and you should have folds in there as well, which is going to be where the pockets are. And then this, of course, is where the flap's going to be. Okay, so just to hold it in place, I often do not pin it, but you could pin it, because you're going to sew it now. And now, that ticking is hard to get through, my goodness. I had actually tea stained these fabrics. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew, not the folds, I'm going to sew down one side, I'm going to sew across, I'm going to sew again I'm going to sew from the folds both times. So I'm going to down, across there, break it off, go down here. You could go right around, that would be fine, but sometimes it gets pushed out of place. So let me show you again. So you've got the 2 raw edges. You're going to sew from the folds, and there should be 3 folds if you're correct. 3 folds there. And then you sew from the folded edge up to the raw edges here, across, and then we're going to do the other side. So let me see if I can do that. Okay. And you should back stitch. And check to make sure that everything's kind of even. Okay, it should be even. Just making sure, just checking. Okay, and I'm going across the top. Whether I did that very straight. I'm going to go across the top again because, well, I'll wait till I come. Now, so I've done one side, and there are the folds. I'm not sewing across those. Now I'm going to go from the folds again, and I'm coming up to the top, and I'm going to sew. Because I sewed a little bit too narrow a seam, I'll go and do that one again. So back stitching. Oops, I didn't back. What happened? Okay, back stitch. And I'm just checking to make sure I've got it all. Yep, that's good. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to go across there again at the top. Take a little bit bigger seam. Oh, I think that'll do it. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Now, I'm just going to leave those threads that are there. It doesn't matter. So now this is the tricky part. You've got all this and you think, oh, now where do I go? Because you've got to turn it and turn it and turn it and turn it till it gets into the right spot. And the first turn is easier, I find, if you put your fingers between the outer, which is the outer fabric, and the lining, the first one, for the first turn. So here I go, and I'm not going to clip corners or anything. I'm going to try and get this pushed out. And it's a struggle, especially if it's a quilted fabric like this one was. Oh my goodness. But you just have patience, and you just keep turning and turning and pushing and pulling and tugging and hoping your stitches don't break. And you keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And I will cut a few threads off, I think, that were in the way. Okay, so I've kind of turned it somewhat. You see here. You see here. Okay, now I've got it to this point where it's got this 2 thingies there. Trying to show you, and you don't turn it there, you can turn it from here. So now, let me see. It doesn't matter which one. One of these things you're going to turn from. Oh my goodness. It is no doubt tricky. Let me see which way will I go. You try and push it up from the bottom. So you just keep turning until it looks like a bag that's supposed to be. You'll know if it's not correct because it will look funny. It's good exercise for the hands, especially with my hands, because I've had carpal tunnel surgery on both of them, and they definitely need the exercise. Okay, so now I'm at this point where it doesn't look right, does it? Because there's the lining and there's the thing. So now I've got to turn again to figure out how the heck I can get this back to where I need it. And I usually take a big needle to kind of help me turn corners and things. Just, it's easier, even if they're not in the right place, it's good to sort of have them. Now, I've got to get this on the outside. Right now there's the lining, so I've got to turn again. Oh man, kind of fun. This is one of my variations. I've got a lot of different ones I've shown over the years. Folding them. Okay, so now it's starting to look like something. Okay, let me take this. First, I think I'll use the scissors as long as I don't push through the wrong way. I've still got that original gap. If you're correct, you will have that original gap there, and you sew that together later because you have two inside pockets. I'm trying to get this pushed out so you can use that gap to help you turn the corners. Of course you'll want to press it too, and I usually take a big needle and I sort of pull those corners without ripping the fabric, hopefully. That's because I've backstitched nicely, so that's not. Okay, so this is looking good. This is looking good. Now the only thing that's not looking good is the lid, the flap. I don't know why I said lid. Anyway, it's the flap. So now I'm pulling out that corner and that corner. That one. My suggestion would be, if you find this tricky, I'll put the dimensions down below, but probably just stop the video and see how you go, or you can, put a comment and ask me something. They're kind of pretty though when they're done. I like them. Okay, so that's, now this is the Velcro, of course. This is the soft side, this is the rough side that we did before, and that will close like that. See? And that's where you're going to hang your little thing like this. And I see that that's showing a bit there, which I don't like, so that's coming off. And you can always stitch it a little bit later, do some overcasting or something. So then you want to decorate it with something. Put some little, I'm going to see if I can plug in the iron and see if I can just give it a little bit of a press to make it look a little bit better. Okay, now let me see, what would be nice to put there? Going to have to, actually what I should have done is sewn on the ends there a little more. Okay, so now I'm not going to press on the side that has the Velcro. I'm going to press on the other. It helps to spray it with a little spray starch too. Need some sort of little decoration. This is steam in the iron. You probably could get away with even less Velcro. Okay, so that's that. Now, I'm going to try and, I'm not going to put this in here because it's sort of a little bit distracting, but that just closes up, and that's for that. Now I could put a button. I could put a patch that I've made. That kind of little patch was not very suitable for this, but I just happen to have it here. I've got this. I've got another patch here. Too big. Let's see what else I have. You could put a picture. You could put a button. Let me see if I have anything. Here you could put a piece of tatting. with a piece of, I saw a piece of lace hanging around that, this kind of lace. Make a little collage somewhere. And then find a button, which I don't seem to have handy. You could put a little bit of scrim, which is what this is, scrim. I think that kind of, the white on there is kind of neat. And I could put, I've got a little butterfly thingamajigger. You could always do a butterfly and have it hanging down like that. Maybe make it a little smaller, it's a little heart. Probably trim off some of that. Yeah, I like a little bit of scrim maybe. Let me see here. And then I'll show you how it looks inside too in a minute. Okay, so that could be like that. A little bit of lace. So you could do that sort of thing. As I said, you could put a nice button, you could put a couple of beads. Whatever, you could put someone's initial if it was a gift. That might be nice. As I say, I always use a big needle like this to turn the corners, something like this. And I think it's pretty good. Yep, they're pretty good. So that, now I'll just show you inside again, because you do have a little bit of hand sewing. You have to hand sew that original, the very first seam we made, where we just did about ½ an inch in from each side, and that helps you with the turning. That's why you have that there. And then you need to just glue it together or slip stitch it. You can't put it under the machine. And so that's one pocket. If you can see that, that's one pocket. And I don't have, let me take the card out of this and show you. It's easier to sort of show you with a card. So you've got one pocket there, and then behind that is the other pocket. And they're all finished on the inside. Everything's finished on the inside, no raw seams. Kind of cool, isn't it? I think it's a great little object to have with you, especially, you know, if you're just running out and you want to sort of jog a bit and you don't want to take, you know, you don't want to leave anything in the car, and you don't want to take a body bag or anything. Just hook this onto your jeans, or you can just put it over your finger. But it is a key ring, and as I said, it's great for, I always carry a couple of band-aids, and you'd be surprised when I'm out exercising, people will say, oh, does anyone have a band-aid? That happens a lot. I always have a band-aid. And so, you know, you rub your heel or you fall over and scratch yourself or something like that. But you can also just take it to the supermarket shopping and just take it to a movie. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope that wasn't too complicated. I don't know whether I explained it particularly well, but I will put the dimensions down for you. And let me know how you liked it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.